Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Bench, episode 4. I am Abby, the President of Society, and with Josh Braxton today, the Social Media and Communications Officer, Josh Brown, the VP, Roshan, the Treasurer, and we are joined by a Leeds supporter, Olivia.
This is one of the
gang sheet.
This combination did involve one of the my favourite podcasts. So this is
I'm
good.
really excited for this one.
Wait, was that the season one when we did the Prem team in it?
Yeah, we did. The regional teams.
With the
guests.
Indeed. Right.
Yes.
Talking points. What happened over the week? Swansea are fucking cheating bastards.
Yes.
Sorry for the language, but I have to get it out there. Over the week, 3 penalties that were pretty much dives. I think we talked about the Stoke one last week, but it was a dive when Jack Clark, former Leeds man, pushed over Carl Norton. He didn't even touch him. We had Middlesbrough at the weekend where they got a last-minute penalty to win the game. It was very 50-50 tackle. Middlesbrough also should have won. They had a goal disallowed because there was a foul in the build-up, and it was like a dive as well. And in the week, they played Blackburn and got a penalty, which was pretty much a dive again. So they could be frauding their way into the Premier League, but yeah. Hopefully, we will beat them in the playoffs. Hopefully they don't get automatics. Come on, Brentford. Anything else that occurred? We had Champions League.
Yep.
PSG beating Barca. Juventus are out. Ronaldo is no longer in the competition.
I think it's the first time since 2005, I believe. Yeah. When there's no Ronaldo or Messi in the quarterfinals. Is it quarterfinals or semis? It's quarters. Yeah. Quarterfinals of the Champions League.
No. That is very, very sad. Sad way hours.
Long time indefinite.
Is the youngest player to reach 25 goals in the Champions League.
Haaland is the fastest to reach 20 goals in the Champions League as well.
It's now Haaland versus Mbappe.
Messi was like 20 years and 200 days old when he scored 25, and Mbappe was 20 years and 80 days. So
fair play.
Enough.
Liverpool are through. Liverpool will probably want to play all their home games in Hungary now because their home games they actually won, and they lost to Fulham in the week, which really spices up the relegation battle. It's most likely going to be with Newcastle going down if Brighton and Fulham are actually good. They also did lose to Chelsea as well.
Oh yeah. We've also got City close to winning the league. They need 6 more wins to secure a Premier League title. So I reckon they'll probably do that.
Who beat them on Saturday? Was that
Sunday?
It was Man
Saturday. Sunday. It was Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
Yeah, it was Sunday. Sunday at 4.
It was Sunday. I'm tripping.
We beat their 21 unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
We dominated them.
Yeah, we did it against Arsenal when they had 49-game unbeaten streak. We did it against Chelsea when they had a 40-game unbeaten streak. We just love breaking streaks. Yes. We're not Liverpool's. We had to give them pity points.
Pity points.
Yeah, look at them now. Pity points. Fucking tossers.
We got Southampton got their first win in 9 games.
Woo!
Yeah.
Beat bottom of the league. That would have been embarrassing yesterday.
Danny Ings upgrade do I hear on headliners, please?
He was injured.
I don't know if it counts if he's injured.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, actually it does. It does.
Is it just the team that has to get there?
Yeah, so Southampton have to win the next 4 for my Danny Ings to be upgraded.
It's a possibility with the teams we've got coming up.
Yeah, they also lost 5-2 yesterday, which was a very interesting game.
Should have been a 2-2 draw without the mistakes our players made, but we move. I'll take the loss.
Yeah, fair play. What about Leeds? What do we have? A 2-0 loss to West Ham. I think we'll quickly move on from that.
I just don't like VAR anymore. That goal should have standard. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Always like a hair of a knee offside.
Honestly, the angle it's looking at makes him look more offside. When I reckon if you went straight on, he would not be offside. Nowhere near.
I mean, I was talking to Liv while she was watching the game, and I was like, definitely when you see the replay, there's no way, hands down, he should have been like that.
Mm-hmm.
How are they drawing these lines at an angle that's not even like?
Okay,
it doesn't make any sense.
Why do the linesmen not have cameras on them?
As a quick thing, what do you think? What do you think it is? Do you think it's VAR's fault, or do you think it's the officials' fault?
It's VAR's fault.
VAR for the offsides. There's not enough good cameras.
Was it Steve Bruce? I think Steve Bruce had a.
I'm on about in general, because obviously that incident was just straight VAR.
Steve Bruce had a press conference today, and I think he was talking about the fact how VAR should only be used for clear and obvious errors. Like, in that sense, that was not a clear and obvious error. And I think in the Bundesliga, they draw a line, like, just straight across, but they don't draw the little lines going down, if you get what I mean. So if it's obvious it's offside from that one line, then they'll give it offside. If not, they won't give it.
That's what they should do now.
It comes back to clear and obvious. It's just like anal little details that the Premier League officials love to do. It's not clear and obvious.
It wastes more time in a game as well.
Indeed.
Slows the pace down, and it makes it just harder for the game to get going again.
But like, our goal that we scored was in the first 5 minutes of the game. Like, that would have completely changed the game as well. I mean, we still can't defend from corners. I'll give you that, because even Dawson scored a header, but still, it's just annoying when like something like that goes against you.
If that goal had counted, that corner may never have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can I just make a point about the Chelsea game though as well? Right. You know when Werner got called offside against Liverpool?
To be fair, that's not offside.
They drew the line, didn't they, to like his shoulder, right? Like under his armpit. And then Kai Havertz scored against Everton. They disallowed it because it was the shoulder. So is the shoulder offside or is it not? Because according to Liverpool game, it is. But then, you know, in the Everton game, he used his shoulder up here to control the ball when it was given as a handball. So what is, as like Liv, it's like the consistency in general is just so poor.
Do they score?
You can't give offside for a shoulder and then not give it for the shoulder.
Do they score with their armpit?
No.
No, they do not. Do they score with their foot? Yes.
You do score with the shoulder as well. Balotelli scored with the shoulder.
I said the armpit.
He took it down here.
No, because the Werner one they did from his armpit, but the Havertz one they did from the shoulder. But you can score the shoulder.
Yeah, it's inconsistent.
It wasn't even the same body part they checked.
Honestly, it should be the body part they score with. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. If you're scoring with your armpit, fair enough, do it from the armpit.
It's like Che Adams' goal. Remember in the last minute? Was it the Aston Villa game when it was offside?
Oh no, that was a different game that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll quickly move.
No. I just meant as in VAR in general.
We'll gloss over.
Oh yeah. That
was the 9-0 loss to Man United, but yeah.
Che Adams was offside that game. I think. I don't know if it was Che Adams that Aston Villa game or is it Danny? I feel like it was Danny Ings.
I feel like it was Danny as well, actually.
Yeah.
That was stupid as well. Like, that's another one where you're like, how is that even going up for?
When it comes to the break in the Premier League, I think they need to seriously look at the issues with VAR and make corrections accordingly. It's just going to be another year of VARs now in control.
They've asked the different clubs now. Apparently, I saw on Twitter earlier that they're asking how they think they can do it better from each club, basically.
Very nice.
Loads of clubs are going to have a big long list.
Especially Southampton. They've been done a couple of times.
Especially in the last 9 games.
Our list will just be, give us more penalties, please.
For Bruno to finish.
Man United will be, we've got no complaints. We love our penalties.
Ours will be, can you give us more penalties? Can you stop making it realistic and just give us the penalty? That's the reason why
Chelsea have had so many, but they've all been penalties. So I don't know how.
You've had the same as us. We've had the same penalties. We've just scored more. But that Hudson-Odoi handball that we talked about last week, it basically what happened behind the scenes. Disclaimer: this is not actually true. But the referee was saying he needs to make it more realistic, so he didn't give us the penalty. But he after the game, he's like, "Yeah, he should have the penalty. Don't worry, lads. I'll give it next time."
Well, I thought the penalty we had yesterday was going to be overturned because it looks a bit soft to me. but we move.
I thought the Foden incident, I thought that was a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they didn't go to VAR on that. But...
Could have pushed over that. Oh, they thought, you know what, Southampton are going to lose anyway. We'll let it slide.
Inconsistency. Keyword with VAR. We'll leave it at that. Gareth Bale played well against Palace. 2 goals in the
he did. Yeah, he did.
Bale's back.
He is indeed.
You reckon he's back?
I reckon he's proper going for it because he doesn't want to go back to Real Madrid.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't know if I was him either.
He's proper trying it.
Trying to get another year-long loan at Spurs. Anyways, let's move on to Leeds United. We're going to have a little in-depth discussion about them, like we do most weeks, about other clubs.
Dive into the club.
Indeed. Dive in.
Yeah.
Right, so 16 years out of the Premier League, first season back. How do you think it's going, Liz?
I think it's going all right. Like, if we I think we're 11th or 12th at the moment.
11th.
So to come up from the Championship and be that, especially when you look at West Brom, Fulham, we were all at the bottom, and we have a lot more wins than them as well. I think we've done pretty well. I mean, our defending though is atrocious.
I'd argue you're one of the most exciting teams to watch in the Prem right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kick corners the entertainers, don't they?
Yeah, I think you are quite entertaining. I mean, straight off the bat, that game against Liverpool, that was hella entertaining. Even though obviously you kind of got shafted out of a penalty in the first one, but still, I reckon that was a pretty decent game.
Yeah, that was the game where they changed the handball laws because what was it, Koch? It hit his thigh, then his hand, and got given as a penalty. And then they changed the handball law straight after that game to say that no longer happens. So that was great.
Indeed. Well, as a Reading fan, I've known about Leeds for a while. So lots of time in the Championship. Obviously, 16 years out of the Prem. A bit of time in League One as well, which is not great. That was the time when they beat Man United and had the cup shock at Old Trafford. Big old Jermaine Beckford.
What a goal!
What a legend, Jermaine Beckford.
Indeed.
Bracky, do you remember Leeds in their Simon Grayson era?
Simon Grayson, what a man!
Grayson.
That guy.
Jermaine Beckford, and that's the only player I could name. Maybe Schmeichel was there as well. Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel's there. They had
Ross McCormack.
Yeah!
What a man!
Actually, no, they had their
prime Leeds championship.
They had Sanchez Watt as well, because I remember he got a red card when the ref was going, "What's your name?" and he said, "What?" and the ref was like, "Nah, tell me what your name is," and he's like, "What?" and he was like, "I'm going to give you a red," and they had to appeal it and go, "His name's actually What?" He had to turn around to show his shirt. There was him, and they had
Blimey.
And then the Norwich left back now, Sam Bryan. He was at Leeds as well at that time. Yeah. He was a starting left back.
Yeah, and in recent times they've been pushing towards the playoffs. 16-17 when we made the playoffs, it was looking like Leeds were probably going to make it, but then somehow ended up dropping out and finishing 7th under Gary Monk.
Oh, yeah.
He then leaves, have a bit of an off season next year with Thomas Christensen, Paul Heckingbottom, and then the Bielsa era. The first season, almost nearly got automatically promoted. The playoff against Derby, we'll ignore that. We'll gloss over that.
Frankie Lampard.
Okay. To be fair, I do find it quite funny that they were ridiculing and saying the stop crying Frank Lampard with all the spy stuff, and then when they beat them 4-2 at Ellen Road, they just start singing it in the changing rooms. But we'll move on. Next year, the league title, and they're back in the Prem, and now they are very good. They're very good for their.
We only got on the Prem though because of COVID though, according to Karen Kearney.
Okay.
So
Karen Kearney, yeah. I got there.
I hear.
What a Karen.
What a Karen.
Typical Karen.
What a Karen.
And I think with this, we got to mention Patrick Bamford, who somehow couldn't score in the Championship. Like, he missed so many key chances, like big chances. I think he still does miss them in the Premier League, but he's actually scoring a lot more now. What do we think about him?
13 goals.
I like him. I put him in my underrated team when we did that thing, and I always have him in my fantasy football as well. Obviously, he likes to captain himself, and then he takes him out when he actually scores. But no, I like him. I think I was speaking to Liv about it the other day. I think if you think of the England strikers at the moment, you know, Watkins isn't really hitting on cylinders. You've only really got Kane that's really performing. Wilson's injured. Ings is in and out with injuries as well. Abraham isn't playing as much. I mean, I would probably say that Bamford could possibly get called up.
I'd just like to put out there, but you forgot that Josh Brown said Harry Kane is overrated as a striker, so we can't play Harry Kane striker.
No, he's a camp.
Oh, is he a CDM now? Or is he going to CDM?
No,
or is he?
He's a camp / centre forward.
He hasn't dropped the CDM.
He's not Rooney in his 30s yet. Calm down.
Yeah, geez.
I mean, I just think Bamford deserves an England call up.
All I'm saying is, when England play, I want to see Harry Kane as the centre forward and not the striker. I don't want to see him up front.
The only problem I think though with like Patrick Bamford playing for England is it's just the way he plays is just good for Leeds. Is it going to be good for England? Like, obviously, I love Patrick Bamford, but do you really see him doing well in an England team? Not really.
I mean, you don't know because everyone else is not in form or they're injured. So I don't think there's many other people that you could possibly call up. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else is the English striker. But I can't.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin.
Oh yeah, but he's not exactly hitting on any cylinders really at the moment either. He started so well and now he's hit this patch and.
It's hard though because there's about 3 of them on the same like number of goals, isn't there? Like,
it's like who would you call up out of them? Because obviously,
three.
No, like who would genuinely start? Because Harry Kane is practically a shoo-in at the moment. Southgate love playing him, so Harry Kane's a shoo-in. So it's who are the other 2, and then it's a case of are the other 2 actually going to be able to play or not? Because obviously we've seen him call up Ings, and Ings gets a short period of time. You've seen him call up Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's had a short period of time as well.
Yeah.
So internationals coming up there, aren't we? Might call Bamford up and try him out. You never know.
He'll call him up over Danny Ings because Danny Ings doesn't deserve another shot at England because he can't play for England.
And he's injured, isn't he? Is he back even for the international break?
No, he is out for the international break, but he comes back for the game after. So hopefully that should be sound. But yeah, I don't think he should be at international level. I think James Ward-Prowse should be, but we that's a different conversation, different day.
Yeah.
He deserves a bench place at least. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the key player in this Leeds side that pretty much makes it tick along is Calvin Phillips. That's CDM in that 4-1. It's also interesting to bring up about how he played for England as well, because he wasn't getting used properly, and everyone pretty much just said, "Oh, he's rubbish. He's not good enough." Even though different players obviously play for different systems, and he wasn't suitable maybe for that system under Southgate, and yeah.
Well, Olivia was telling me the other day that he literally wasn't even playing in his correct position.
No, it's like because he was doing it with him and Rice, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Whilst Calvin's kind of like a lone kind of one who sits back and he finds the space for the defenders so we can play out the back. But they don't do that with England, do they?
No.
So he just wasn't getting used properly. So he looked like dog shit.
Yeah. Who else have we got in that lead squad? We've got Liam Cooper as well. Is he?
Yeah. General at the back.
General at the back, indeed.
Funnily enough, he's in the Who Scored Team of the Year so far.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which I was very surprised at, considering he makes quite a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but he's the captain. He's quite good. I think he's quite good. He's been with Leeds for a while, and I think, whether or not he's a Premier League player is a different question. But I think he's really performed when he hasn't been injured, and I think he's been vital for the team this season so far. So I can see that. I can definitely see that.
He's put in some good performances as of late. Like the Crystal Palace game was good.
Yeah,
he put in a good performance there. It's just more when I watched the Newcastle game when we won 2-1, I think, in the reverse fixture. The 5-2 game where he put a tackle in on Wilson in the box and it should have been a penalty, and I don't know how VAR picked up on it, but at that point it was only like 1-1, so that could have gone the other way and he would have fucked it up basically.
Yeah,
like he makes those mistakes every so often, but overall he's quite a consistent performer.
Yeah, for sure. I think it for Leeds in general. Speaking to you about this yesterday, I think there's a lot of unsung heroes in that team. I think Stuart Dallas is probably the most versatile player I think I know in the Premier League. I think he's really good and really underrated. You've got Ayling as well. You know, he's been through all the ranks. I think Rafinha is probably your best player.
Yeah.
I nearly forgot about Rafinha. What a signing that is.
He's such
very
a
key.
What a man.
Did you see how he was announced, by the way, by Leeds?
Yeah.
So basically, when it was like loads of rumours about him coming, some French guy in French said, "Fuck your mother, you fish and chips land." So when we signed him, there was just paperwork and a plate of fish and chips, and that was the picture. And then obviously everyone knew that was going to be Rafinha.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
5 goals, 5 assists. Easy win.
Yeah, he's good. He's very. I like watching him. I think him and Harrison on the wings really complement each other. With Bamford up front, I think them three work really well. And then Click and Phillips, and then Dallas has been used, hasn't he, recently as a centre midfield as well?
Yeah. Aliascu was playing a bit of left back.
Been used there as well.
Yeah.
But we've not had a good run with injuries really. Like we got to a point where most of our centre backs were injured. Rodrigo was injured.
Yeah.
We thought Rafinha was going to be injured for a little bit, but luckily he pulled through. So, because he's he's our best player. So, but yeah, I think it's been quite hard because like everyone talks about how bad our defence is, and don't get me wrong, like especially on set pieces, we keep losing our people. But we've had like obviously Liverpool have had 18 centre back pairings, but we've had I think 8, 9, 10 centre back pairings this season. So like it's hard to have a consistent back line when we've got Ayling, who's a right back, playing centre back with someone who came up from the under-21s team, which is Sturridge. Like you can't really expect them to do very well, if you get what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong though, Ayling did phenomenal at centre back.
Yeah.
But then you lose his qualities at right back because he links up very well on that side. So with the balls he puts in, for example, the Burnley game, it was his ball over the top to Bamford that led to the penalty.
I feel like I was gonna say I feel like the main problem at Leeds is that you kind of get you kind of feel exposed at the back because obviously the whole philosophy of the way Leeds play is just full out attack and getting the goals in. But I feel like when you don't get the goal, it's kind of frustrating at that point, and you keep pushing players forward, and then that's when you're so vulnerable to counters. I think that's one of the main issues I'd say with Leeds. So like I wouldn't say, oh, there's a certain player you need to get because of they're being countered or whatever. It's not players' faults. It's just obviously the system doesn't sometimes work in your favour. But at that point, it's got to be adjusted, which I don't think it does. And that's where you get your high amount of losses, as you say, or goals conceded as well.
Mm.
Yeah, true.
I mean, as like a neutral, I wouldn't want Leeds to adjust their formation because, as we said earlier, I think they're the most attractive team in the Premier League. So I think having that high pressure, high intensity, having the players that can do that for a full 90 minutes, I think it's very, very attractive to watch as a neutral fan. And obviously, mine and your team are playing. I mean, Chelsea and Leeds are playing on Saturday at midday-ish. Obviously, we won last time, but I have to admit that was, I think, on the stats, that was the furthest we've ran all season, and I think that really tested us a lot. And I think being at Ellen Road this weekend as well, I think it's going to be a lot tougher game than what people think.
Apparently, there's a really good stat as well that shows that after a team has played Leeds, a lot of them don't go on to win. Like it's a really high percentage.
We've got Atletico. We can't be saying that.
So when you played us last time, do you know who you played after? Because you lost, I'm pretty sure.
I'll check.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
Yeah, you said that's so blunt.
No, like because we are a high fitness team. Like if you look at the stats
Literally,
this season,
Abby, she's just turned around to you and say you're going to lose against Athletic.
No,
he'll change the team. The amount of times that Tuchel changes.
Is it true? I thought it was true.
Right, so Chelsea played Leeds. They beat them 3-1 on the 5th of December. And on the 12th of December, they played against Everton and lost 1-0.
Look at Aston Villa, they beat us 1-0. Lost to Sheffield United 1-0. That's another example of it. Every time teams play us, there's only a certain number of teams that have actually come out and won after the games they played because we just work them that much.
It's like those teams with low amounts of squad depth where they can't really rotate. I think that's what it might be.
But we can rotate. We've got a lot of depth, but we had a lot of injuries at that point, so that's probably why.
That's what, like, obviously we can like come up with these stats, and then obviously there's like hidden stuff behind it as well. That obviously that won't be but I can't even get words out today. That won't be portrayed within the stats and facts, and then obviously certain things occur. But yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, no. But,
I wanted to mention quickly about probably one of Leeds'. I can't get words out now. Leeds' weakness, which is probably their left back positioning, because they don't really have a solid left back, and it's being left up to Alioski to do, or maybe Dallas, who is very good and very versatile, but he's not a known left back. So I think.
We've never been good with that position, though. Like, we signed Barry Douglas back when Bielsa first joined, and we thought that was going to be an amazing signing, especially with how the Costa coming along, and they linked up quite well. But look at him, he's on loan at Blackburn Rovers now.
He's not even getting game time there, to be fair, I don't think, anyways. So, looking at transfers, we probably want to target that left back position. And you're also looking at, we were also mentioning before, looking at a Calvin Phillips backup, because he's had two spells of injury this season, with one with a calf and one with a shoulder. So it'd be useful to look for a CDM as well. So left back wise, what have we got?
Brandon Williams.
Fair shout.
Scum. Oh, who said that? Sorry.
I knew that was going to come out.
That came out.
Just slip out.
I knew it was going to happen as soon as you said a Man United player.
Wow.
The only reason I've chosen him is because every time I've seen him play, I do like him, but he's too. There's two people above him that are just going to get chosen every time, and they're both getting time. He's not getting a game, so I think he needs to leave in the summer.
I was saying left back wise, someone like Rico Henry. He's not a bad shout. He's performing really well in the Championship. Because he could potentially move on. Another shout I had in was Danny Rose. He doesn't get played at times.
I thought of him.
Yeah. See, I mean, he's a quality left back, but Jose just doesn't like using him. So he might as well go to Leeds, get some game time. He's an experienced left back, plays pretty well. Can probably help out.
Yeah. I thought of Robinson from Fulham. I think he's quite a good left back. I mean, I know he got sent off against Chelsea. Obviously, I remember that game. Bit arguable anyway. But I think going up and down the left flank, I think he's been really good for Fulham, especially with this little Sirs that they're coming up now. I think he's a young player. And I think with the intensity that Leeds have, I think he'll benefit the system quite well. But I think he's a good shout.
Abby, you know when you said Robinson, I thought you said Robertson. I was like, fucking hell. I was like,
Robinson. Robinson.
Yeah, I know. At first I thought you said Robinson. I was like, jeez.
Oh, no.
Leeds are going to splash out the cash and get Andy Robinson.
But no, we definitely will be getting a left back this
Maybe,
season.
Emerson, no.
But, We definitely need one because Alioski's contract's up at the end of the season, and there's rumours of him going to Galatasaray, however you say it. So, which is disgusting if you ask me anyway, after what happened. But you know, can't stop them from going there.
If we're going to be like brutally honest, in terms of transfer budget wise, obviously Leeds haven't got the biggest budget within the Premier League, but they've still got a decent amount because last season, but technically this January transfer window and then also including last summer, Leeds spent 96 million on transfers, which obviously is not many people would expect it. But then on top of that as well, you've now got the new deal with the San Francisco 49ers, so more money will be injected into the club. So I think their transfer budget could be could potentially be bigger for this upcoming summer, and I reckon they could probably get a few really good players. And to be fair, Leeds always find players from leagues that no one really knows about, but they somehow perform. Like Rafinha, he wasn't getting talked about much, but he's come into the Premier. He's done a banging job.
I think Koch cost 1.2 million.
I like him. I think he's great.
Like, we're being realistic here. Like, the team that played against Aston Villa, for example, like 9 or 10 of those players were 9 probably were Championship players from the season that we came up from. Like Llorente and Rafinha are the only 2 I can think at the moment off the top of my head were the only ones that won in that team. Like Bielsa, we've got to be realistic because Bielsa likes his small squad, and this is a problem when it comes to injuries. Like when all our centre backs are out, we have a very small squad. He doesn't like big depth squads, which is why injuries hit us harder. Like for Klitsch wasn't performing for a while, so he stuck him on the bench. But then Rodrigo got injured, so now Klitsch has to play. So it's like things like that. So I don't think they're gonna come out and spend lots of money, but I do think a left back and a backup CDM and a potential centre midfielder, because Klitsch has not been great, is what we're looking for. And maybe even a goalkeeper, because Meslier, I think, is great for his age, but we kind of need an experienced one as well on top of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not a racist one as well.
I hope he goes this season. I don't even care. Just get rid of him on a free.
Yeah, indeed. Dean obviously mentions the left back of Anthony Robinson. The man who's playing left back recently at Fulham and would be a really interesting, quite good one is Ola Aina.
Ex-Chelsea man. Yeah.
He is performing quite well recently with Fulham, and could be considered as well, especially if Fulham went down. I think they'd be a battle for teams trying to.
I was going to mention a Fulham goalkeeper if they went down. Areola.
Yeah. We brought up on the podcast last week about for Leicester. Could be good for Leeds as well.
Yeah.
Braxton, who was
Leeds a better match?
I was going to say Braxton. Who was the fullback that scored twice against Brentford in the playoff final? I can't remember his name.
Joe Bryan.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's a good shout, to be fair, for Leeds.
Yeah. He don't play him that much. He doesn't start.
I feel like he's probably more of a Championship player. I don't know if Leeds could use that to his advantage.
They're like, Championship player, we like you. Come to Leeds.
I mean, they've converted loads of Championship players to basically be Premier League players. Well, I think they could easily do it with another player potentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True. Now, Roshan always fought up with some CDM backups for Calvin Phillips, especially if there's injuries. So, do you want to go ahead with them?
I say, you say I thought up of some. I only thought up of one. My brain was frazzled when I was doing this, but I thought one potential one that's probably realistic would be the man, the myth, the legend, James Milner. He's, he played for Leeds. He said in his own words in a press conference, when he finishes off his career, he wants to finish off at Leeds. I think it's time. He might as well just head back to Leeds now. He doesn't really get played too much by Liverpool. He might as well get in some game time at Leeds because he's guaranteed to play. He's still a very fit player, and I reckon he'll fit in with that squad. No matter how much they run, James Milner still runs a huge amount. So I reckon he'd fit in pretty well. That was my suggestion.
Actually, lads, we actually do have a backup. His name's Adam Forshaw.
Where's he at?
He may be injured still after 2 years.
He's probably
but
moulded
we've got
to the
a
table
backup.
still.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Washer is so bad.
What a man.
Poor lad.
What a great man. To be fair, there is one player that I've been just quickly reading about before this.
Yeah.
Jimmy Morehouse wrote this on Football Fancast, saying Leeds may already have their Calvin Phillips replacement in Noah Kenner. He's 18 years old and playing in the under-23s. And I think it'd be better to go through maybe the academy for the Calvin Phillips backup / replacement, because it's much easier to mould a younger player like an 18, 17-year-old into how Calvin Phillips plays, rather than getting in a slightly older one, a bit more experienced one, to try and do that job, and it might fail. So it's obviously be a decent shout. I mean, they're still playing Struick there as well. Played Struick there, but haven't been playing well.
No,
Yeah,
better centre back for sure.
Yeah,
he's a really good centre back. Don't get me wrong. CDM, no, he's not. He's horrible.
Yeah, I've seen him play actually in CDM, so no.
No, but we've got a couple of up and coming like stars from the under 21s and under 23s. Like we spent 93 million last year, but most of them, well, half of them were under 23s players. Like
they were.
Geldhart from Wigan. Somerville, Greenwood from Arsenal. There's that one I can't say, Cody Drama from Fulham. So we've got quite a couple of them coming up.
Yeah.
I'm just reading through some Leeds news, and I think this was mentioned last week, possibly by Roshan, the Brentford striker Ivan Toney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that.
I think you've got links with him. So I reckon you do bits up with Rafinha up top.
What are you talking about? We're getting Haaland.
You're getting Haaland.
He wants to win the league.
He's got to afford his wages.
Nah, they can. They got the new San Francisco injection. They can afford it now. Any day. Easy money.
And then I've also seen that apparently Bayern Munich are also interested in Rafinha, but
they don't need him. They've got Gnabry, they've got Sane. They don't need another winger.
Nah.
There's also been rumours Man United want Rafinha, Liverpool want Rafinha.
Yeah. We want the right winger, so Rafinha would work well for us. But
Rafinha did an interview saying how much he loved Leeds and that he's not listening to any of the
guy
things. I actually quite like him because I read a story. They did like an insight into him, and apparently Patrick Bamford was like filming for a cancer video, and he did a goalkeeper, so Rafinha stayed for like 2 extra hours and helped him out with it.
Yeah.
What a lovely guy.
What a guy. I had a few suggestions as well for centre midfield. I thought of Lundstrom from Sheffield United. Not necessarily a holding midfield player, but I think he wants to leave Sheffield United and go to a better team. And I think he's a very underappreciated player in terms of he can play for a better team, because I think he's very good. I've mentioned him quite a few times across the podcast.
I think he's one of the best box-to-box midfielders.
He's very, very good player.
While you're while you're on Sheffield United, you also got Sander Berge there.
Yeah, I said that last night.
I don't think he'll want to play in the Championship next year, so interesting to look at him. Carry on.
Same for I was thinking about obviously Ben White's always been like floating around since he was on loan at you as well. Obviously Brighton want too much, but obviously Brighton look like, there's a lot of teams that are now hovering over that last place relegation, especially after Fulham's massive surge. So I think if Brighton went down, I reckon they would listen for offers for Ben White. Going back to Sheffield United as well, I think O'Connell was very good. He's been out the whole season pretty much with ACL or whatever's occurred there. Obviously you do have a lot of centre halves, but obviously I think the inconsistencies with the injuries. I know it's you never have, only until recently has been like a proper pairing that stayed for like more than like 3 or 4 or 5 games. Obviously you've seen Ben White playing centre defensive mid as well for Brighton this season.
Leeds as well in the Championship.
Yeah, he was on loan. Leeds did try to sign him, but Brighton wanted too much money.
He
signed a new contract.
What they said to us that they didn't want to sell him to a direct relegation rival.
Lol.
Look at us now.
Ooh.
Big fat lol.
But what I found interesting when I was like looking at the stats from like the Championship is, for example, in the first season with Bielsa, we conceded 50 goals, and then we sold Pontus Jansson and got Ben White, and we conceded 35. And you look at this season already, and we've conceded 40 something.
Yeah.
So you've scored 43 and you're on -3, so you conceded 46.
So like I think it's Ben White was the best centre back we've had in a while. He was a ball playing centre back, which Bielsa loved, and he also can cover for Calvin Phillips. But also Robin Koch can cover for Calvin Phillips. He was also CDM at Freiburg, but obviously he's injured. So we did have that backup in a way, because Llorente would then just come in for him, but obviously he's injured, so we don't have that backup.
Yeah. So who would be like your ideal like centre back pairing? So say like one player that you already have and one that you'd want to get. Who would you want? Because I think your right back's solid. I think Alien will stay there. Obviously, he won't buy no one. I just think the main problem, as we've already discussed, is left back, centre mid area, and maybe centre back, maybe goalkeeper.
I think there's also one possible other problem next year.
Yeah, go on.
Right, Olivia, I want your honest opinion.
You should answer my question first. Why are you skipping?
Okay, yeah, fair. Actually, answer Dean first. Sorry, I don't know. I thought you answered for some reason. No, answer Dean.
I like Koch personally. Oh.
Well, that's the
title. That's the title.
Yeah. And I think that sounded like robbing, didn't it?
The title of the podcast is going to be "I Like Koch."
Olivia likes Koch.
Okay, so you'll have Koch and who?
I'd love Ben White obviously back. Like that'd be mental, I think. But if we're being realistic, but if we're being realistic, it's probably going to be Cooper and Koch, and then Sturridge will probably come in for Koch, because obviously
Dean's Koch. Dean's gone.
Oh god, no, it's just these new glasses. I'm just adjusting to.
Shut up.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Compose yourselves, please.
To play his name, for God's sake, get over yourselves.
It's just the way you said it, and then paused. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Oh my god.
He's actually back in training now, funnily enough. As we see him. He's going to play a game with the under-23s to get some fitness back.
That's great. Can Brown ask his question, please?
Right, honest opinion. Is Bielsa going to be your manager next year?
Yes, actually. I'd love to give you a quote that he said today. I'll give you one moment. Where is it? Leeds United.
We're like a direct quote.
I go from day to day thinking I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. At the same time, it's a profession that usually has interruptions. I don't think there are many managers in football who have the legitimacy to stay in a job for as long as they like. But from the first bit, I'd say that looks pretty positive for next season.
Yeah. It does.
I mean, if I was him, I would stay, because considering you've just gone up and then you're 11th now, potentially if you solidify a back line, then you could push for top half of table, maybe even Europe.
I think the misconception is
when I Braxton laughing, can we just like pan him out and then just put Michael Elise in there?
It's got back into my head.
Can we just put Michael Elise over his thing while he's laughing?
Sorry, the comment got back into my head, and
yeah.
I love how Dean's just put in a chat saying "What Koch struck." Right, we're gonna move on.
Let's have our
My connection completely went.
The classic here. Prediction where Leeds will finish this year and who should they sign in the summer. For me, it's going to be probably 11th or 12th around that area. Or if I'm feeling if I'm feeling confident, I'd say they go above into 10th, but I don't think Arsenal will drop below Leeds. So I'm going to stay with 11th, and they should sign a left back, and I think they should sign Ola Aina.
Fair play. Joshua Brown, what are your thoughts?
I just skimmed over the games they've got left. They've got a couple of big ones, but they're kind of half and half with hard games and I think games that they can win. I think they're gonna push Arsenal out of the top 10 and take the 10th spot. Personally, if they win the games that I think they're gonna win, yeah, I'm gonna go with signing.
Yep. By the way, you can have more than one signing. We're not limiting you down.
More than one signing.
Yeah.
I'll say. I'll say Areola because I mentioned him, and I'll say, his name's popped out my head. The left back from Brentford that you mentioned.
Rico Henry.
That one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll go with them. I'll go with them too.
Abby Dean, what about you? What have you got?
I think Leeds will finish 12th. I think it'd be a very successful season finishing 12th. If I had to pick two signings, I'd say Robinson from Fulham, as we're currently raiding Fulham if they go down. And do you know what? I'm going to say Lundstrom still. I think, regardless if he's on the bench or if he starts, I think he'll be a good addition.
Big man Johnny Lynch. Fair play.
Liv, what are your personal opinions?
I think 12th or 13th probably, especially like looking at April. We have Man City, then Liverpool, and then Man United in a row. So, I mean, we've got some games coming up. I mean, when you look at it based on the table, Fulham should be an easy game, but they're not easy, are they? Like, that's going to be, especially in London. Have we won in London in 4 years? No, we have not. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we drew to Fulham or something like that, because it's quite hard to break the curse, obviously. But yeah, 12th, 13th, and I think definitely sign a left back. And I would really love Rodrigo de Paul after our summer flirtations with him. We were really heavily linked with him, but he's worth quite a bit of money. But he's out of his contract at the end of the season, I believe. So he would be a really nice centre mid to complement our team.
Fair play. I'm going to go with Leeds. Stay where they are. They're going to finish 11th. Signings wise, left back, I will say I would like to see them sign Rico Henry. Danny Rose is also a shout in there, but I'll back Rico Henry on that. Centre back signing, I like Ruben Koch in that back four as a centre back, and I want to pair him up with someone who I think is versatile as well. So, as I put out, they could potentially loan Nathan Ake from City because he's not being used at City. They could potentially loan him. If Brighton go down, they could splash the cash and get Ben White. That's another suggestion. Another one, Abby will probably disagree with me on this, but I'm saying they could potentially get Tomori. He's out on loan at Roma.
AC Milan.
Yeah, AC Milan, that's it. Yeah, I always get mixed up. But yeah, he could, if Chelsea don't want to use him next year, he could be a good shout because he's not a bad player.
He might be off to AC. He's on they can buy him for 25 mil at the end of his loan deal.
They don't have that kind of money though. They've already said that.
AC think it's too much. They want about half of that. But yeah, I like Tomorrow. I think, do you know what? I think I would agree. I can agree.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought you didn't want him to go. My last option was you could potentially loan out Twan Zebe from us because we've got Maguire and Lindelof, sadly, who always start, and then Bailly is the backup to it. And we never used Tuanzebe other than when we played PSG. So he could potentially be a loan option. But if you would so kindly take Maguire off our hands, we would love that as well.
I don't think anyone's taking Maguire off your hands, mate.
No one's taking.
Please, someone take him. I don't want him anymore.
You have to wait till his contract's gone.
He'll get a new contract, won't he?
He'll get another.
No, surely he won't. I don't think so.
I'm going to be diagnosed with depression if he continues to stay.
Honestly, I can see them just waiting for his contract to finish and then just letting him go for free.
He's got to go. He's got to go, blood.
Got to go. Should we have a look at some games to watch?
Yeah, let's move on. Look at some.
Leeds beat Chelsea just because we're doing Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good game. Anyway.
It'd be a good game. It'd be a very good game.
Indeed.
I mean, every time we've said that, it's been the most boring result ever. But yeah, let's hope for the best.
Cardiff, Watford.
That'll be very interesting with the playoff. We've got Newcastle. We got Newcastle Villa tomorrow. I'll just put that out there. Yeah. Blackburn Brentford as well.
We've got Sunday, North London derby at the Emirates. Arsenal play Spurs. That's a big one. There's also United, West Ham. Yeah, that's in top 4 fighting pretty much. We need to win that, obviously, to close the gap on City. But yeah,
Southampton, Brighton.
Relegation battle. What?
It's not a relegation battle. But hear it, mate.
You're not
they won't even get more than 30 points this season. But
Kirk, if you're watching, can you put a little comment below whether you think Southampton will get relegated? That one's out to Kirk. If you think they're going to get relegated, put it in the comment below.
No. We've got our full squad back.
To be fair,
oh my God. Obviously, we've got the North London derby as well on Sunday.
We've got 4 easy games.
Abby, I just said that.
We've got 4 easy games.
Oh, you just said that.
Yes, Abby.
I was still thinking of the other thing.
But to be fair to Josh's theory, when Kyle Walker-Peters does play, they do get the wins more.
He won at the weekend and he was playing. We lost yesterday and he wasn't playing.
Exactly. There's a consistent theory there.
We'll be playing Brighton and he'll play and we'll win.
Yeah.
If you lost to Brighton even without him playing, I'd be pretty shocked. So
no. If we lost without Kyle Walker-Peters playing, I would not be shocked.
With next year of like 6 or 7 and 1 goal, I don't see Brighton putting it in against Southampton personally. But
I mean, as long as we're playing Fraser Forster in goal, then we're okay. McCarthy did very well at the beginning of the season, but what I saw from McCarthy yesterday was League One sort of goalkeeping.
It was funny. No,
it was not Premier League goalkeeping. What came from his hands, it was not.
There's also sorry, I just wanted to put it out there. I've just seen this. There's also a nice big top half of the table battle. Lille, who is currently sat in first place, are playing Monaco, who's currently sat 4th. That's a nice big one. Sorry, Brown. Yeah, I just saw it as well. That one's done by me and Brown as well. That's a joint one.
Oh, there's a Bundesliga one. Leipzig versus Frankfurt. That's a big game on top of the table.
Oh, I can't get my games.
If you want a 0-0, if you want to bet on a 0-0, you got Crystal Palace, West Brom.
We have Milan versus Napoli in Syria.
Yes, nice. Very nice.
That one.
Any more? I don't want all these non-league games. Footmob.
Wall Street Liverpool on Monday night football.
I don't think it's that big anymore because Liverpool are slumping down and Wolves are just kind of like mid-table. But yeah, it's a shout to watch if you.
Well, Liverpool are at Anfield, so it might be a bit different.
Yeah, could be. What else we got? La Liga.
Nothing really interesting there, I would say.
No.
Champions League next week as well.
More Champions League indeed. Chelsea Atletico. Got some midweek games in the Championship as well. We're playing Birmingham away and we should win. We're playing Forest away at the weekend. We also should win.
Don't you just love Forest? You know how they were talking about how they were going to beat us to promotion and they've only got like 5 points more than us since we've left the Championship and they've had like half a season more.
Indeed. That is
That's
very
great.
skinny.
That is just awesome.
League One is obviously very interesting. Hull were top of the league, now back top of the league on a winning streak. They got Oxford United, who are chasing the playoffs. Ipswich, Plymouth, Lincoln, Rochdale. Lincoln should be winning that.
Lincoln have to beat Rochdale. They're bottom of the league.
Indeed.
Weird things have happened. Look at Swindon Town.
Yeah, true.
Swindon
Chocolate
Town
Will the chalky milk need to be pulled out if you lose to Rochdale? I think you.
Not again. I can't. No. Not after today.
I mean, Abby bought the last chalky milk from Aldi, so
Yeah,
you should better savour it and not.
There we go.
Indeed, and obviously you have Man City, Mönchengladbach, which is Man City will probably win that. Atalanta, that's a close one. That's 1-0 after the first leg.
United, AC Milan in the Europa League as well. Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's tonight. And then the second.
Bye, United.
Bye.
No.
Bye.
We're gonna stay. I'm telling you, we are
better defenders, better goalkeeper, better
Hey!
midfield, better attack.
Hey. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Better midfield, nah. Everything else, yeah, fair enough. Better midfield, nah.
McSauce.
Yeah, sauce in there.
We got McSauce, we got Fred, we got Bruno, we got Rashford who sits in there. We got he might be injured. We got Greenwood that sits in there as well. Martial can sit in there. He plays better on the left wing anyway. Attack,
How many times do you want to say sit in there? I counted like 4.
I think I said about 4.
He sits in there and he also sits in there.
I always say like the same phrase like a couple of times.
Well, they have Donnarumma.
If you didn't know,
they have Tomori.
Is so slow. Like slow.
Ibra, but he's injured at the moment.
McNolly, Theo Hernandez.
Gonna miss
having a
this
good
one.
season.
Yeah, we know the defense is way better. Our defense is awful.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who is out. Did you say?
Yeah, he's out of this one.
Rafael Leah. Mandzukic, the man.
Rebic.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
They have a lovely little player called Daniel Maldini. 19 years of.
He's not matured yet, so it's alright. when he matures, then like when he gets a bit older and he's like performing at the same level, then that's when
Am I correct in thinking Rashford's missing the game?
I think he is. He had a little injury.
Ankle injury.
So Rashford will miss. Bruno will still play. Van der Beek will probably come in at some point. Pogba will probably come in. I think. I don't entirely know.
By the way, they're moving Pogba. No,
please not Pogba.
Braxton, by the way, they're moving Pogba around. He'll be in striker for this game.
I'd love to see that.
I would rather Pogba striker than Pogba on the wing.
Be left wing.
Go centre back.
No, not centre back. We've got centre back. We have.
He's the only person.
You just slated both your centre backs, so now you don't want Pogba at centre back.
I don't like playing Lindelof and Maguire. I don't mind playing like Baye and Tuanzebe or like Lindelof. Baye. I hate Maguire.
Pogba and Lindelof. What a pairing.
Pogba and Maguire.
I just don't understand. No.
Both waste some money. Both waste some money at the back.
No. You know that
180 million.
That's 170
million. 90 million per player.
Yeah, get 180 mil at the back. Go on.
They said 5 between the two because Pogba's 90 and then Maguire was 80. There'll be a 170, 85 between.
Fair play. Bayern have Lazio and they should win. That's what I'm going to round it up with. So, thanks for watching. Liv loves Koch, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Yep. Yeah.
Bye.